The founder of a Democratic political action committee is under fire over some pretty awful tweets that resulted in him getting so much pressure, he deleted his own Twitter account. Pedro L. Gonzalez tweets, according to the founder of the award-winning Democracy Preservation Initiative, it is absolutely okay to drag white people out of their cars and execute them in front of their children. I'm sure these people will come around now that the Republican Party has gone woke, right? That's basically what he tweeted. And it has to do with a very sad and horrifying story out of Chicago. But before I mention it, I want to point out this weekend had some pretty brutal moments. In Oakland, there were some shootings at a Juneteenth celebration. And then people started jumping up and down on the ambulance, and they were twerking up against it. And this jams up the ambulance, obviously. But that's just that one story. You also had a Pride event where a vehicle crashed into a Pride parade. And the mayor of the town said that they were targeting Debbie Wasserman Schultz, that it was an act of terror. And it turns out, guy's foot got stuck. It was an accident. That's it. There's another story. Apparently, people on the left, people like I think who was tweeting this? This is George Takei saying that Republicans were mocking Joe Biden because his dog died. And I'm like, are any one of these stories true? What is wrong with these people? The first story. Basically, this guy is saying that if you are driving around a neighborhood as a white person trolling, then you should be executed. But let me show you the actual first story. It's a horrifying story. From Fox 32 Chicago, man killed in shooting in Humboldt Park was celebrating Puerto Rican Day parade. Let me ask you something. When let me show you this story. All right, we'll break this down. Newsweek reports, Florida mayor criticized for calling LGBT parade accident terror attack before facts are known. Think about that for 2 seconds. In one, a man is celebrating Puerto Rican Day parade. He gets brutally beaten, him and his girlfriend, I believe, shot and killed. The woman left for dead. In the Pride event, it's a car accident, and they say it's a terror attack. What about this guy? This was a guy who was in a parade getting attacked. Oh, he was the bad guy. That's right. The tweet coming out of this Democratic PAC is that he was the bad guy. That's the assumption they made. It's horrifying. It's a terrifying way that people think and live. Fox reports, friends of a man murdered in Humboldt Park said he was shot while celebrating the Puerto Rican Day parade Saturday night. Giovanni Arzuaga and Yasmin Perez were shot on the West Division Street on the northwest side around 9:15 p.m., hours after the parade had ended. My heart is destroyed. That was my best friend, my brother, said Arzuaga's brother in a phone interview with Fox 32 News on Sunday night. Police said Perez and Arzuaga were ambushed by three men. A Facebook video that was allegedly of the shooting showed the victims being pulled out or falling out of a car with a Puerto Rican flag. Arzuaga died, and police said that Perez was hospitalized in critical condition. A GoFundMe organized for the Arzuaga family funeral costs and Perez's medical care identified both victims. The organizer of the GoFundMe asked supporters to keep the couple's children in their prayers. Now, here's what this, let me show you this. Democracy Preservation Initiative Award with AAPC Poly Award winner. Oh, that's great. Best new and unusual tactic. Leveraging values to identify and target persuadable voters. Bravo, good sirs, with your Julian Castro for Biden videos and your Democrats. And here's what the guy said. The first thing this guy, Richard Tate, tweeted. I'm sorry. Is that a Confederate flag they're flying from their car, trolling that neighborhood? Yeah, I don't give an ish, Ann, and you should have mentioned that. Because apparently Ann Coulter tweeted something he didn't like. Someone said, I think you owe Ann Coulter an apology. He said, well, I think this is a little disingenuous, but okay, I got the flag wrong, but we're not talking about that, are we? The point is, had these people been white supremacists trolling a neighborhood primarily of color, I would have been agnostic. It was a horrible incident. This is what these people think. Now, I, for instance, think any act of killing is wrong, horrifying, and that brings up many serious ethical and moral conundrums around the life and choice arguments and war. But I can at least say this. People should not be dragged out of their car and beaten and shot and killed. I don't care who you are for whatever reason. Now, in the event that you are doing something extremely dangerous and posing a threat to people, hey, self-defense exists. But people like this are the ones getting Democrats voted, and people like this are the ones running for office for Democrats. Now, hey, whoa. I don't like Republicans either. They sit on their hands and they do nothing. They complain, they do nothing. I just love the sheer insanity, the lies, the duplicitousness of the Democrats. There was a tweet I saw from Kyle Kalinske, and they were like, this exemplifies the Democrats so well. In Oregon, they finally got the chance to control redistricting and then gave it all up. There's this meme on the left that Democrats are somehow in a weakened position. The Democratic establishment and the left control all the cultural institutions, the universities. Now they have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. To act like they're doing nothing is absurd. When you look at the healthcare argument, you have Republicans saying, nah, I don't know. And you have Democrats saying, we demand a complete overhaul of the entire system, the banning of private health insurance. Okay. That's the left. So the left complains that when they're screaming, give us health care, give us universal health care, the Democratic establishment says we're going to go for a public option, moving the whole thing to the left. The Republicans do literally nothing. But because the leftists expect everything and they're entitled, they're shocked and angered by the fact that the Democrats only give them a little bit. Where the Republicans come out and say, I don't know, abolish the ATF or something. Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene said that. Republicans don't fight for much. They just say, slow down there. That's Mitch McConnell. Slow down there, Democrats. Oh, they're speed bumps for Democrats. When has a Republican come out and framed the narrative from a Republican perspective and made demands counter to the left? They don't do it. The left thinks they do, but they don't. And the left thinks they do because the Democrats are giving them a little bit of what they want. All you got to do is look at that meme where it's like they put Bernie Sanders as center left. It's like, bro, Bernie Sanders pushed a bill that would give 20% ownership of companies to employees. That's socialism. Literally, it is. Literal socialism. When the workers control the means of production. Now, it's not 100%. He's not saying they'll get everything, but 20%. Hey, that's not center left. That's kind of far left. But isn't it funny how they frame it that way? Then when the Democrats propose something that's actually to the left, but not far left, the leftists say, that's republicanism. Okay. This guy, proud founder of the Democracy Preservation Initiative, verified on Twitter. Well, he deleted his account. His account is now gone. This is what we get. This is the horrifying reality that is these lunatics who lie, cheat, and steal. If this was a group of white people in Chicago with a Confederate flag, he said he would have been agnostic and essentially implied they deserved it. You know, maybe you should have mentioned that, Ann. This is the game they play, and young people are really dumb and fall for it. And the reason is conservatives too busy complaining, not busy doing. So I'll tell you this right now. Hey, go to timcast.com and become a member. Why? We are about to hire, I believe we are literally hiring today, our mysteries and paranormal researcher and writer. We're going to be writing long-form articles about various unsolved phenomena and creepy stories. We're going to make a podcast about it. We're going to make books about it. We're going to make culture. Now, this may not be the most important cultural thing, but I think it's important because it's entertainment. It's not going to be political. So when we put out a podcast, you'll get a bunch of regular people who will start listening to a regular cultural podcast. They might come to the Timcast website for bonus content, and then they'll get exposed to centrist news. How about that? That's kind of the point. But long story short, culture in the law is our long-term goal for a lot of reasons. You need young people to have fun and be inspired and want to be a part of the crew, which means you need young people doing fun things and having access to cool things. So you want these young kids to be watching a video where, you know, we're going to be skateboarding and scooting, biking, rollerblading. And I just ordered these street skis, they're called. They're like long planks with wheels. Silly. It'll be fun. Maybe we'll get like a pro skier and see if they can actually, you know, hit the half pipe or something. These kids will watch videos like that. They'll see the Gadsden flag. And it'll help them associate ideas of freedom and liberty with fun and success. If young people are only ever going to be surrounded by other young people who are woke, they'll be woke, desperately trying to fit in. We want to create an outlet for individualism. Let them choose whatever politics they want. They can come hang out and skate and watch these videos. Building culture is paramount right now. That's what we're doing at timcast.com. It's not necessarily intended to be a promo, but to make a point. How is it that all of these lies and manipulations keep working? Well, young people, impressionable, inexperienced, no memory of the past 10 years because they were little kids. So when Occupy Wall Street was going on, you had a bunch of 10-year-olds. They're 20 now, and they're voting. But they don't know what went down in 2008. They don't know about the Federal Reserve and the banks. All they know is they turn on the TV and there's their favorite musician that all their friends told them to like. And they're saying like, yo, man, socialism's like it, dude. And they're like, cool, dude. And then when you get a 35-year-old, or a Ben Shapiro type, they're like, what a stodgy suit-wearing dork. You look at Reddit. They just lie all the time. Every single thing is a lie. Let me show you an example. I saw this on Reddit. Political Compass memes. Shout out. You guys, absolutely phenomenal subreddit. So this is George Takei. He tweeted, Republicans are mocking Biden for showing grief over the loss of his dog. If you lose your dog but feel nothing, you might be a Republican. This is inundating people on Twitter, on Reddit. So you get these young people that start using Reddit and they read that and they go, Republicans are dumb. And then so the way Political Compass memes work is like, it's a political compass. Authoritarian left, there's a bunch of people who are unwell who say, what? Biden's dog died? OMG, we need to use this as political propaganda somehow. Then they show 4chan and it says, the first dog has died. Whether you like Biden or not, let's all take a moment to remember the first dog champ, F, to pay respects. Rip doggo. F, losing a dog is horrible and I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Rip pup. What does it say? Is that the base doggo that bit the Fed boys? If so, F, rest in peace, champ. And then it shows the right, the authoritarian right and the libertarian right, hugging, saying rip doggo. George Takei, with his high-profile account, is claiming that Republicans are mocking Joe Biden for losing his dog. I saw that and I was like, there's no way a Republican is doing that. Okay, it may be some random account, some mean people, sure. But I cannot see a circumstance in which any Republican of merit on any social platform is like, laughing and giddy with joy. There may be a few, for sure. But the general consensus, I'd imagine, would be, man, that's a bummer. Plus, they're laughing because the dog kept biting feds. Come on. Yeah, the left makes it up. They just make it up. And then they try and convince these young people that Republicans are evil. Take a look at this. Florida mayor criticized for calling LGBT parade accident terror attack before the facts were known. Why? That's the point. The lie travels halfway around the world before the truth can strap on his boots. As the saying goes. Here's what y'all need to do. You guys need to build culture, make fun vlogs. Look at, I'll say this, Casey Neistat, the godfather of modern vlogging. Before him, vlogging on YouTube was like someone with their cell phone, like, yeah, I'm outside of John's house and we're going to go play Mario Kart or something. And then Casey started doing drone shots and cinematic stuff. He would walk into a room, put his camera down, turn it on, walk out of the room, and then walk back in to get a shot of him entering the room to make it more cinematic. He endorsed Hillary Clinton. That's the problem. I think he came to later regret it, but that's the point. Where's the prominent, high-profile vlogger to come out and be like, yo, I don't care, I'm voting for Donald Trump? You can't just have channels like this where I'm like, I complain about things and I'm upset, and that's it. Why would a young person watch that? No, think about it for a second. I do have many young viewers. The demographics for my channels are around 18 to 35, and the next biggest is, 30, or 18 to 34, 35 to 54, whatever. But think about this. I'll tell you a story. I was eating dinner with some family, and there was like a 12-year-old, what would it be, my second cousin? I don't know. My cousin's kid was like 12 or so, probably getting age wrong. Don't get mad at me. And she was talking about how she hated news, and news is stupid. And I said, I can make you understand and care about news. And my family laughed. They're like, no, you can't. She's, a young girl. She doesn't care about this stuff. And I said, news is just the stuff that's affecting your life. So I'll put it this way. The most important stuff to you in your world is like your classmates and, your friends, right? Now, what is there someone in your class you don't like, you think is really mean and nasty? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, now imagine if that person was voted in charge and allowed to make all the rules. Wouldn't that bother you? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, and wouldn't you want to tell people about it and talk about it? Yeah. I'm like, that's what news is. Young people don't know about who George W. Bush is and the war in Iraq, and they don't care about Joe Biden. So when 10-year-olds don't experience Occupy Wall Street, and now they're entering their adulthood into a culture of Republicans are so dumb, what? And celebrities all laughing and saying Republicans are dumb. They're laughing and high-fiving each other, not knowing anything about what they're talking about. Now, Republicans are pretty dumb, don't get me wrong. But it's like the mass propagandizing, saying it's like, okay, what happened in Chicago, if it was a white guy, is just like absolutely wrong. But they're getting young people through culture. They're not putting on a video where they're like, in today's news, President Joe Biden launched missiles into Syria. And that is whack, yo, because no young person is like, let me turn on to see about what Joe Biden did in foreign policy. They're like, hey, I want to watch Ariana Grande dance with James Corden for whatever reason. And they see a big old Fauci face. Ariana Grande, celebrity, music, pop culture, kids love it. So they go on Reddit. And there's just endless memes about how stupid and evil conservatives are. Now, here's the best part. It used to be the Donald on Reddit in the past several years until Reddit banned and removed them, citing a whole bunch of fake nonsense, saying that they were violent or some other garbage. But now it's dominated by the left. Very clearly, as the CEO of Reddit said, they could swing an election if they wanted to. Now they are. They're making sure that young people are indoctrinated through culture to believe that the right is all dumb and wrong. For instance, there was there's always a bunch of fake tweets from Ben Shapiro because they need people to have a negative view of Ben Shapiro. And there's always a bunch of out of context tweets from Ben Shapiro or purposefully misunderstood. So there's one post about critical race theory I saw that was actually making fun of critical race theory, pretending to be history. And they just post it to reclaim it and then change the context of it, saying it was mocking those who believed that schools are teaching critical race theory. It's clever. It's smart. So here's what they do. As you know, they take tons of clips out of context from my show. And then there was this guy who's a COD gamer. He was like, Tim Pool created an election map that showed Trump winning 49 states. Like, I tweeted him. I was like, I never did that. I never did that. I did have a bunch of hypotheticals about like, man, if these riots keep up and people keep smashing windows, Trump could get a 49 state landslide or something like that. Or I'd say like if Trump appointed Tulsi Gabbard to national security and like Yang to economic advisor, legalized pot, 49 state landslide. Because then he's going to get all the Democrats. Based on a bunch of circumstantial incidents, I'd say something like Trump landslide, baby, but also understanding that a lot of it is meant to be, it's figurative. You know what I mean? It's like suggesting Trump's going to win overwhelmingly. Not that I literally think it, but this guy sees all the grifter posts. That's the point. It's meme manipulation. Now, the Donald and now Patriots.win used to be very, very good at it, but they got quarantined. Literally, and even to this day, they are quarantined. Patriots.win is an isolated website that only survives by people mentioning them. Well, they've become, in my opinion, less and less relevant. The Donald used to be, on Reddit, one of the top progenitors of memes on the internet. So they purged it. They got rid of it. They then moved over to the Donald.win. And then after Donald Trump lost the election, changed it to Patriots.win. Now it seems to be just... There's much less memes, much less interaction and engagement. I think the site's doing really, really well. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, when it was the Donald, it was like the number 2, I think, 4chan, politically incorrect being the number 1. The tech giants, they understood what they had to do. So what they do is they don't want to just eliminate outright. That could create serious problems. They've done it in the past. It doesn't seem to work. So they segment and then quarantine. So for instance, like a channel like mine right now, a lot of people are like, wow, Tim's channel sure does really well. And, oh, that's really great. And Tim will never get banned. So we have 2 Facebooks that have now been rejected for monetization. One was forcibly removed. They may review it and give it to us back. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But on YouTube, people keep saying, hey, I'm not getting notifications for your channel anymore, Tim. YouTube's not letting me know your channel exists anymore, Tim. Yeah, because listen, if my channel is like milquetoast moderate, and they still want to get rid of it because I'm saying things like this, they don't ban it outright, that would create a huge splash, which could help me launch a website or do more. It would allow me to expand in other areas. Plus, my podcast exists, 2 of them. So they do it slowly. slowly excising and making sure you can't grow. And if you look, culture war, non-political channels still do well. Now, obviously, people don't care about politics as much right now. So that's an obvious answer as to why that would be. But you may have noticed you're not getting notifications from my videos anymore. I recognize that. It's why we launched Timcast.com. It's why we're doing Cast Castle. It's why we're doing the vlog. It's why we're hiring people and expanding. If we want to cut through these lies. By the way, the car accident was literally at the Pride event, just a car accident. If we want to cut through the lies, if we want to win, we can't just complain about what the left is doing. We have to actually do things. So that's what I'm doing. And the Daily Wire is too. They made movies. They're doing more. The Daily Wire is mostly just like a talk radio network, which means if you're already involved in politics, you're interested. But how do you initiate someone into politics? Well, you need to get them asking questions about certain issues. So when we do the Cast Castle vlogs, we make side jokes about culture war issues. That's important stuff. That's the stuff that's going to get a young person who's interested in adventure and fun and exploration and discovery to start seeing other content. I saw a video posted by, I think it was posted by the Barracks, one of the biggest skateboarding websites, if not the, in the world. And this guy did what's called a front side flip. It's where you jump, spin 180 degrees, and the board flips under you, and his board had ACAB spray painted on it. I see a lot of videos from skateboarders where they physically fight security guards. These are really, really bad things. It was a few years ago, a security guard was trying to stop some skateboarders at a famous spot in San Francisco, and someone punched him. He fell back, hit his head, and got severe brain damage, and is now, I think he was in critical condition, like completely comatose, massive brain surgery, and the skater got arrested for it. But these posts on Instagram glorify getting into fights with security guards. I've never been a fan. You blow the spot. There have been tons of spots that we were in Chicago, places to skate, right? Urban environment stuff. Usually you're not supposed to be there. There was one, what do we call it? I can't remember what it was called, but it was a loading dock. And then there was a railing so you could jump over the railing. Security guards would show up and yell at us, and we would apologize and leave. That way there's never a fight and you can just come back later, right? Well, some kids decided after the security guard yelled at them to smash out all the windows and ran. And that's when they came in and put up barriers and put up tape around everything. That was it. They destroyed the spot. So I look at these things from skateboarders, and what do they say? They say fight with security guards. They glorify, they get views from it. They glorify confrontation. They show a kid skating with ACAB on his board. I think these things are really, really bad. So we have to make content that challenges that. There are a lot of pro skateboarders that are absolutely anti-woke, though, so don't get me wrong. And actually, I think the Barracks are pretty smart and moderate individuals. Steve Bear, for instance, he's posted things, and he's a fairly rational and smart guy, but politics isn't his realm. I'm not criticizing the Barracks. I'm just saying there was a skateboarder who had ACAB. So we need to make sure that we counter that with equal and opposite cultural, actions. I don't expect any skateboarder to ever have spray painted on their board back the blue, nor would I support that either. But there is a skateboarder who's got a big Gadsden flag for his mini ramp, and when he skates, you can see the Gadsden flag. That's what we need. That's how you cut through the lies. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.